Hello and welcome back to TheSadFan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad. So, the Super Bowl happened. The Seahawks are champions. The Raiders have signed the offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, to be their head coach. And all is right with the offseason. But we're not going to start with the NFL and the recent Super Bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the NBA. Because we can't just focus on one sport year round. And we're going to get to the Olympics as well and the athletes exercising their First Amendment right, to have free speech and how it turned some Americans against them. So Americans are rooting for other countries in the Olympics, which I think is a first. It's really weird for me that happened. But it's also weird that other Americans are cheering on the Americans they're cheering against Team USA, because Team USA some athletes on Team USA chose to use, the Bill of Rights and their First Amendment rights to practice free speech and speak out against what they perceive as injustice and what many perceive as injustice that is going on with, illegal taxation due to tariffs, illegal search and seizure due to the current administration stance on immigration. It's okay in our country to speak out against that, be an American athlete, and have us still root for the athletes. So it's very interesting. I feel like there's a certain population that's very confused about what is going on and how to handle it. And really, unfortunately, they just have this deep-rooted tribalism that they can't let go, even when they're completely incorrect, been proven incorrect. Their own Supreme Court majority votes against them. And they still want to be weird and choose to be uninformed and often unintelligent. But we're going to start with the Warriors, speaking of unintelligent. We're going to start with Dunleavy. So Dunleavy went out and got Kristaps Porzingis. To be fair, I said this last time, nobody was going to get Giannis. Giannis was never leaving. It would have been nice to get Giannis, but that wasn't going to happen. What we need to focus on here is, why did we only get Kristaps Porzingis to the Golden State Warriors, Dunleavy? Why was that the only thing that you could get, especially with all of those first-round picks? Well, let's think. You diminished him prior to the trade deadline by stating, in order for you to have a trade demand, there has to be demand, dictating that there was no demand for your best trade piece in Jonathan Kuminga. What is wrong with this guy? Dunleavy has exhibited the attributes of someone that is not good at his job repeatedly within his tenure. He is the definition of a coattail rider, just like James Franklin was. And, he's a great coach. He's not. James Franklin's not a great coach. He can't beat anybody besides the teams he's supposed to beat, and sometimes he can't even beat them. All right? Sorry, Kurt Signetti did it at Indiana. Franklin couldn't do it at Penn State. Get the hell out of here he's a great coach. So now we've got Dunleavy in Golden State. Dunleavy is doing the exact same thing with Steph Curry. And the remains of Draymond Green. Draymond Green's corpse out there, just standing in the way of people, because that's all he can do at this point. He can no longer move. Now, when we look at Dunleavy's tenure, I want you to really think about what he's been able to produce. He's akin to, he's not even akin to Pat Riley over in Miami, because Pat Riley's actually done some things, moved some cap space to be able to sign players like a Jimmy Butler. That's not what Dunleavy did when he picked up Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler was a terrible deal. He signed him $50 million a year to a player in his late 30s, which is just idiotic, and thinking that was the piece that the Warriors needed, which it was not. Okay? It was not the piece that the Warriors needed. Now, here we are, again, for the third season in a row, about to get into the play-in tournament with an old-ass team, and you only have Kristaps Porzingis to show for it. And the question we all need to start asking is, when do we hold these people to account and realize they're only as good as their players that already exist if they cannot make a trade and make a team better? So the only reason that Dunleavy has had any success, if he has had success, is due to Steph Curry, who was there before he took over that role. When is it time to hold these GMs accountable, these coaches accountable? There was a section of the population that was upset with the firing of James Franklin. Why? What did he accomplish? What did he do at Penn State that Penn State couldn't do with someone who has never coached before, and the only thing on their resume is they played NCAA football? What did he actually do at a school that doesn't really have to go out and recruit because they're a national brand? I'll give Bill O'Brien credit for the comeback that Penn State made after the Paterno and Sandusky scandal, but you're not giving me Franklin. Get that out of here. Just like get Dunleavy out of here. Dunleavy has not done a single thing for the Golden State Warriors franchise. And it's time for these people in positions where they're getting paid millions of dollars a year, annually, millions of dollars annually, to be competent, to stop getting rewarded because they have an all-star that they didn't even draft. An all-star that was there prior to their tenure. They have been unable to get outside of the knockout round in his tenure. The time is running out on Steph Curry. He can still do it, and in Steph you trust. And we're approaching an offseason where they have some money and they have some draft picks to maneuver around, and maybe a sign and trade is in their future with some big name player, but it doesn't look it. And it's getting old. And like I said, the clock is running out, not just on Steph Curry, but on Dunleavy. And if Dunleavy can't make something happen this offseason, it is time to say goodbye. It is enough of allowing somebody that is as incompetent or has been as incompetent as Dunleavy has been to continue there. All right? The draft picks aren't showing up that he's making. No, they don't have that core. They're nothing special on that team without Steph Curry. That team's not winning without Steph Curry. So players that don't perform get held accountable. And it's time for these GMs that don't perform to get held accountable. We need to stop rewarding less than mediocrity within a business just simply because you don't understand the business aspect of that business. We know what results look like. And it's time for the media to present these individuals' names so we're not just hating on players. That's not okay. Simply because they're what you see walk out onto the field or the court in this case, it's not okay to consistently blame them when you've got a lame duck GM in Dunleavy that has not done a single thing to help his franchise besides collect a paycheck. Enough is enough with Dunleavy. If there is nothing done, as I stated earlier, over the summer, it is time to wave the hand and say goodbye and bring in somebody with some stones that can get something done for this franchise. Because this roster is not going to cut it, okay? Bringing in Kristaps Porzingis is not going to get you over the hump in the Western Conference. You've got a generational all-star at the end of his career in Stephen Curry, and it's time for you to show up. It's time for you to put up or get the hell out of Golden State. Get the hell out of that cushy job that you've obtained for whatever reason they hired you. Because you have no reason to be in charge of a glamour franchise over the last 15 years, like the Golden State Warriors. It's time for you to get the hell out of Dodge if you don't do anything this summer. Let's talk about the Olympics. We've got a big game coming up in USA, Canada, and Canada has struggled in the last two rounds. Last round barely getting by Finland, and USA. I'm more excited for this than I have been since the 2010 Olympic Games, when that game went to overtime and we had our hearts broken by Sid the Kid. This game is going to be so exciting, and USA really has all the momentum after what they were able to do to Slovakia. They have all the momentum going into this gold medal game, and I truly, truly hope that they're able to capitalize on it, because Canada has looked weak. They have not been able to show any strength in the previous two games, where Team USA truly has, especially last game. Now, granted, the round prior, they needed overtime, but so did Canada. Crosby hasn't played the last two games, and it's looking like he's questionable for the gold medal game and may hold out. This is Team USA's chance to go ahead and capitalize and get a gold medal. And that would place them right up there with the USA women, who already beat Canada in the gold medal game. The United States women dominated their competition this year's Olympics, and now is their opportunity to join the women. Now is the men's opportunity to join the women with a gold medal, and we will have both teams, both gold medals in the United States for hockey. This team is the both Kachuk brothers are ready to roll. This team is ready to roll. Austin Matthews is ready to roll. I'm excited to see what this team is capable of. And everyone in the United States should be too, regardless of whatever side of whatever weird political spectrum you're on. We should all be getting behind this United States team. Every single U.S. citizen. Why? Because the Olympics, and this is our country's athletes on display. And this is our opportunity to rule the sport of hockey for the next 4 years. Why would you not want that? Why would you not want that to be the case? You should. If you are a red-blooded American, you should be doing nothing but hoping that this USA Olympic hockey team brings home the gold against what has been a juggernaut the previous few years in Canada. As it pertains to the Olympics, we need to talk about Eileen Gu. Now, this shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't. And it shows that we in the United States have been lacking funding and training for our athletes because we have no reason, as far as the Olympics are concerned, to correct myself, we have no reason to be this big of a nation with this many resources as it pertains to athletics and not be able to have athletes like Eileen Gu want to compete for the United States. Like that shouldn't happen. Yet it did. And she's on record saying it's to honor her mother and all the sacrifices her mother made for her to be able to do what she's been able to do as one of the best skiers in the entire world. And she went on record saying she's probably getting a lot of hate for it, mostly because she's winning. Because if she was losing, no one would really care what country she represented. And that there's truth to that. For me, I think we should be very grateful we live in a country where athletes want to come train, where people can come from all over the world and find a better life like herself and her mother were able to do. And stop blaming our problems on people that have been successful within the country. It's a little bit of a ridiculous trope that has been going on for some years now. This woman is a great athlete. You hear her talk, you know she's American. She can't get rid of her what is definitely an American accent, almost a Valley Girl-like accent. And there's nothing wrong with the choice she's made. But I think there's something wrong with us not having the resources to really go out and recruit like a college might, an athlete of her caliber, someone that we know to be great, someone that is obviously a prodigy as she's only 22 years old. And instead of looking in the mirror, because that would require reflection, right? That would require self-awareness from many people out there to think, oh, maybe I'm wrong, as opposed to standing so stridently in what is your incorrect shit pile. Look at ourselves and go, where did we go wrong along this way that an athlete as good as her would not want to represent the United States? And at the end of the day, maybe there was no way to curve that. But that should be where we're looking, not to insult this human being that is one of the greatest athletes in her sport. That is the dumbest thing, the weakest thing, the softest thing that we could ever do. And we need to stop encouraging that, because that is what actual soft behavior looks like, is going after that individual or an individual like that, as opposed to looking at ourselves and saying, what can we do better? What can we do better? Right now, we don't have the resources invested in our Olympic teams. You could say we do, but we don't. Our athletes are not paid like they should be, the athletes that compete in the Olympics, okay? There is strong reasons why we have not been able to compete in the World Cup on the level that we should, a nation the size of ours. And yes, it is the fourth most popular sport, but also our nation has taken sports that are so inexpensive around the world to play and made them elitist sports that common folks can't get into. Instead of making these things accessible to everyone and taking our talent-rich communities and riding our talent-rich communities to the very top of events like the Olympics. Instead, we look at people and blame and shame, and we price out communities of sports where everyone should be able to play. Sports should be for everyone. And instead, we're going to yell at somebody that chose to represent a different country for whatever reason she chose. If it's for her mother, great. If it's because the USA has not provided for her and her athletic pursuits the way we have the capability to do, as opposed to funding billionaire tax cuts, which is what we have been doing, then good. Do the choice that's best for you. What human on this earth would not make the choice that's best for them? It's insane to sit here and think you wouldn't make a choice that was best for you. So you should expect other people to make a choice that's not what's best for them because it makes you feel good? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us in the way we're thinking? What is wrong with us, going back to what I stated earlier, for getting mad at athletes for practicing free speech, which is a First Amendment right in our Bill of Rights that we love so dearly, and we're going to get mad at people for celebrating it and using it? It's insane what is happening right now. The Olympics, oh my God, the Olympics used to be something that we all could enjoy as a community. We could all root for athletes as a community. And instead, we've chosen to be continuously divided, even on something that is celebrated and competed under the same banner, under the same flag. And that is baffling, that this is the point we've reached, that we can't even agree to support American athletes, and that we're going to yell at somebody that chose to represent China as opposed to America for whatever reason. We're going to be mad at that. Who cares? Why don't we, if we're so against this, why don't we invest in free skiing and bring up our own female athletes? Why don't we invest in female sports more instead of being mad at somebody that has gone out and been great? She's been amazing. We're mad at that instead of seeing what that human can be, seeing that maybe she did utilize all United States resources. It certainly looks like it. Well, we have the same access to those resources as she did. Why are we not investing in our athletes to be great? We're going to sit around and cry about it because that's a show of strength. Sit around and cry about it instead of putting our money to work, putting our resources to work, and getting our women, our female athletes, right on her level. You don't be mad because you can't beat her. You find a way. You find a way. Celebrate her greatness because it's amazing that we get to live in an era where we get to watch it, and then let's move forward and let's find a way to get our athletes on that same level and give them a chance to win at the next Olympics. Let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Like I said, they signed Clint Kubiak as their head coach, which we're very excited about. And now I'm just begging you, don't go out and sign people with a quick fix. Yes, there is a lot of money to spend in free agency, and it should all be spent on the offensive line. They have so many holes. But if you're not going to invest in the secondary in Las Vegas, it's time for you to invest in that offensive line and protect the number one overall pick. Enough of this, they might trade it. That pick's not going anywhere. They're not trading that first overall pick. They're drafting Fernando Mendoza. All this is for show. All right? Call them Shakespearean because they are putting on a play and you are buying in. Fernando Mendoza will be the first player picked. He will be on the Las Vegas Raiders, and they need to find a way to protect that player. So all this cap space, well, you've got a quarterback on the cheap, needs to be thrown into an offensive line. Oh, yeah, why else should you invest in that offensive line? Because you've got an amazing tight end, and you've got an amazing rookie running back who will be in his second year in the NFL, his sophomore season, and you need to protect these players. Keep Crosby, all right, because he's the anchor to the defense, and then find ways to fill the gaps. But right now, you need to be concerned with not giving a quarterback like Fernando Mendoza PTSD because he's behind a line that has nothing but holes in it, and he's getting hit every single play. We have the ability this offseason with so many great offensive line prospects to stop that from happening. And how do we stop that from happening? Stop worrying about getting a wide receiver who is not good in Romeo Doubs. He's just okay. He's just an okay guy. He just happens to be a guy that's available this offseason. There will be better prospects that come available. There may be better rookies in next year's NFL draft that come available. Do not blow your load on a player like Romeo Doubs. And I'm truly hoping that is not the direction they want to go in. There are two directions that this franchise needs to go in this free agency, and that is offensive line and defensive secondary. That's where this team needs to go. And then use whatever you have left. Pick up veterans contracts to fill the other holes in this roster, and there are a lot of them. This is not a one-season job. And I can't even get into the coaching staff that Kubiak has brought on board. It is not inspiring at all. And we're going to have to sit back and see how this works out because a lot of these no-name coaches that he has brought in do not inspire confidence. The only name so far that we have heard that is confidence inspiring is Kubiak's name. That's it. That's all we've got right now as Raiders fans to really reel us in. Is we got a coach that we believe in that's done some great things with some great offenses. He is just coming off a Super Bowl win in Seattle. So he's going to show up to the Raiders facility with a Super Bowl ring, a facility that has not seen a Super Bowl ring in over 30 years. It's time for this team to really get into this rebuild, and it starts by building up that offensive line. It's not going to be a great first season under Kubiak. We all need to be aware of that and set proper expectations. But what it can be is a season where we see real building happen. Real building needs to start happening with this franchise, and this is the season where we could see that happen. It's not going to be like Tennessee. Tennessee threw away all their potential. All their potential around Cam Ward was thrown away in a lost season. Las Vegas has an opportunity to not follow that playbook, to create their own playbook. All of us understand this is not the team that's going to win the West. It's just not going to happen. But this is a team that can get better, can take strides forward. And that's what we can all hope to do as a society, as a football team, as a basketball team, and as fans of the United States Olympic teams. Let's go men's hockey and let's go SadFan. We'll see you next time.
Back to the block, back in the shop, get it off a dummy, always get money.